Imagine a place so secret that for decades the government pretended it didn't exist. A place hidden behind miles of desert, guarded by armed patrols, watched by cameras you can't see, protected by laws so strict that even speaking about it could erase a career or land someone in prison. Imagine a place where the sky itself seems suspicious, where strange lights have been reported for generations, and where one word alone has become shorthand for conspiracy, aliens, cover-ups, and forbidden knowledge. This place is known to the world as Area 51, and for most of modern history, it has existed somewhere between fact and myth, between reality and imagination. Area 51 sits deep in the Nevada desert, inside a restricted military zone larger than some US states. The land around it looks empty and lifeless, endless stretches of dust, dry lake beds, and jagged mountains under a scorching sun. But this emptiness is precisely why it was chosen. In the 1950s, at the height of the Cold War, the United States needed a place where it could test experimental aircraft far from prying eyes, far from cities, far from enemy spies, and far from the public. The world was divided into two superpowers staring each other down, both terrified of falling behind. Information was power, technology was survival, and secrecy was everything. The facility that would later be called Area 51 was originally just a patch of land near Groom Lake, a dry lake bed that made a perfect natural runway. It didn't have a mysterious name at first. Internally, it was referred to by boring designations, the kind that don't invite curiosity. But secrecy has a strange effect on the human mind. The more something is hidden, the more people want to know what's behind the curtain. The truth is that Area 51 played a crucial role in shaping modern warfare. One of the first major projects developed there was the U-2 spy plane. This aircraft could fly higher than anything else at the time, so high that Soviet radar couldn't detect it. When people on the ground saw a shiny object gliding silently across the sky at altitudes no commercial plane could reach, they didn't think classified reconnaissance aircraft. They thought UFO. And so, unintentionally, the legend began. As the years passed, Area 51 became the birthplace of even more advanced machines. The SR-71 Blackbird, a plane so fast it could outrun missiles. Early stealth aircraft designed to be nearly invisible to radar. Experimental drones long before drones became a household word. These machines were decades ahead of what the public knew existed. And that gap between reality and public knowledge created a vacuum. Nature hates a vacuum, and so does curiosity. Into that empty space rushed theories, rumors, and stories that grew more elaborate with every retelling. But to understand why Area 51 became synonymous with aliens, we have to rewind to 1947, to a small town in New Mexico called Roswell. When debris from an unknown object was recovered after a crash, the initial military report described it as a flying disc. That phrase alone was enough to ignite the imagination of a nation. The report was quickly retracted and replaced with a more mundane explanation: a weather balloon. But the damage was done. People didn't forget that first announcement. They didn't forget how fast the story changed. And once trust cracks, it rarely heals completely. Over time, the Roswell incident became intertwined with Area 51 in the public imagination. The story evolved from mysterious debris to crashed alien spacecraft, from unidentified materials to extraterrestrial bodies, and from secret analysis to hidden underground laboratories. Area 51 became the perfect setting for these ideas because it already existed behind a wall of silence. If aliens had crashed, people reasoned, where else would the government take them? The US government's refusal to talk openly about Area 51 only made things worse. For decades, officials would dodge questions, refuse to confirm its existence, or provide vague, carefully worded statements. Maps showed nothing. Budgets listed nothing. Pilots who flew too close were warned, sometimes aggressively. Workers were flown in on unmarked planes and sworn to lifelong secrecy. This wasn't normal military behavior in the public eye, and it didn't feel like it was just about airplanes. The desert surrounding Area 51 became a pilgrimage site for believers. People camped on hills miles away with binoculars and cameras, hoping to catch a glimpse of something extraordinary. They watched the sky at night, waiting for strange lights to appear. Sometimes they did. Sudden flashes or fast-moving shapes that seemed to defy physics. Each sighting became another data point in a growing mythology, shared on forums, in documentaries, on late-night radio shows, and eventually across the internet. Hollywood played its part too. Movies and television shows painted Area 51 as a warehouse of alien technology, a prison for extraterrestrial beings, a hub for secret deals between humans and non-human intelligence. These stories were thrilling, frightening, and irresistible. And the government, whether intentionally or not, allowed them to flourish. In fact, some former officials later admitted that alien rumors were convenient. If people were focused on little green men, they weren't asking about stealth bombers or surveillance programs. In 2013, something remarkable happened. The CIA officially acknowledged the existence of Area 51 for the first time. Declassified documents confirmed that the base had been used for testing the U-2 and other reconnaissance aircraft. For skeptics, this was validation. For believers, it was proof of a cover-up. If the government lied for decades about the base itself, what else was it lying about? Around the same time, the conversation around unidentified flying objects began to shift. The term UFO started to be replaced by UAP, unidentified aerial phenomena. The Pentagon released videos showing encounters between military pilots and objects that appeared to move in ways conventional aircraft could not. Officials admitted they didn't know exactly what some of these objects were. That admission sent shockwaves through the public. For many, it felt like confirmation that the old stories might not be so crazy after all. But here's where reality becomes more nuanced and more interesting than the extremes. Saying, "we don't know what this is not the same as saying, "it's aliens." In many cases, UAPs can be explained as sensor glitches, unusual atmospheric effects, foreign drones, or classified domestic technology. When multiple layers of secrecy overlap, even trained observers can misinterpret what they're seeing. Area 51 today is believed to be focused on next-generation military technology, hypersonic vehicles that can travel at several times the speed of sound, advanced drones with autonomous capabilities, electronic warfare systems designed to disrupt enemy communications and radar, artificial intelligence integrated into surveillance and defense. These projects require isolation, secrecy, and control over airspace, exactly what the Nevada desert provides. The base itself is not a single underground city as some stories claim, but a collection of hangars, runways, test facilities, and support buildings spread across the dry lakebed. There may be underground sections, as many military installations have, but there is no credible evidence of vast alien storage facilities or biological containment labs. The workers there are engineers, pilots, technicians, analysts, and security personnel, people with families who go home at the end of the day, even if they can't talk about what they worked on. And yet, despite all the explanations, despite declassified documents and official statements, the legend of Area 51 refuses to die. In 2019, millions of people jokingly signed up for a viral event called Storm Area 51, a tongue-in-cheek plan to rush the base and see them aliens. While only a small number of people actually showed up, the event demonstrated something powerful. Area 51 isn't just a military base, it's a symbol. It represents the fear that governments know more than they tell us, the suspicion that history has hidden chapters, the hope that we are not alone in the universe, the thrill of forbidden knowledge. Area 51 sits at the intersection of science, secrecy, paranoia, and wonder. It's where rational explanations and wild imagination collide. What makes the story of Area 51 so enduring is that it taps into something deeply human. We are curious by nature. We look at the stars and ask if someone is looking back. We question authority, especially when it refuses to answer. We love mysteries, especially ones that feel just out of reach. Area 51 offers all of that in one place. If aliens were to visit Earth, it's logical to assume the military would investigate. If advanced technology were recovered, it would be studied in secret. These ideas aren't absurd on their own. What stretches credibility is the scale and consistency required to hide such a discovery for generations without leaks, without proof, without undeniable evidence. Governments can keep secrets, but not perfect ones, and not forever. And yet, the universe is vast beyond comprehension. Billions of galaxies, each with billions of stars, many with planets. The idea that life exists elsewhere is no longer fringe science. It's a serious field of study. But the search for extraterrestrial life happens through telescopes, probes, radio signals, and data analysis, not through autopsies in desert bunkers. So what is really at Area 51? The answer is both simpler and more complex than the myths suggest. It is a place where the future of warfare is tested before the world is ready to see it. A place where engineers push the limits of physics and technology. A place where secrecy is not about hiding aliens, but about maintaining strategic advantage in a dangerous world. And yet, it's also a mirror. It reflects our fears, our hopes, our distrust, and our imagination. Every generation projects its own anxieties onto Area 51. During the Cold War, it was about Soviet spies and nuclear annihilation. In the Internet age, it's about hidden truths and cosmic secrets. The base hasn't changed nearly as much as the stories we tell about it. In the end, Area 51 doesn't need aliens to be fascinating. The real story of human ingenuity, secrecy, and the blurred line between what we know and what we believe is compelling enough. But as long as there are unanswered questions, as long as the gates remain closed and the skies remain restricted, the legend will live on. Because some places are more than locations on a map. They become ideas. And Area 51, whether it holds advanced jets or something far stranger, has secured its place in the imagination of the world.